throughout Southeast Asia. His initial objectives may have been to leave behind photo codes and symbols in order for the Golden Lily, a secret society related to the country's nobility, to return and collect the looted prizes, which are rumored to contain precious artifacts, jewels, military secrets, and gold. His goals may have also included leaving behind the looted prizes. On Luzon Island in the Philippines, a 7-person team, including their head researcher, who is based in the United States, investigates eyewitness accounts, finds a story rock, unearths mysterious symbols, and by the time the season finale airs, finds a hidden underground tunnel, the entrance to which may have been made accessible after a record-breaking typhoon hits the island. Due to the fact that World War II's waning days occurred much more recently, Lost Gold simply does not have hundreds of years' worth of tall tales surrounding its buried treasures. If social media had been available during the time of General Yamashita, there is no doubt that the lost riches would have been located right away. But with Nippon Star's murky ties and a little background knowledge on the Black Eagle Trust Fund, which is an unauthorized, off-the-books CIA funding for covert operations, I'm instantly fascinated, and I wonder who else may have already attempted to collect part of the lost wealth. The sole critical eyewitness who was still alive and had survived to see Yamashita's workmanship up close and personal has now passed away. How will the passing of Grandpa impact the job that the team does going forward? Their hunt for wealth may come to an abrupt halt if they are unable to delve just a little bit farther into the meanings of critical clues. Is it possible that some of the booby traps that were set 70 years ago could still be effective in blocking subsequent revelations? Will someone from the Golden Lily Hidden Organization finally make a remark regarding the current predicament? Who is the confidential source who may or may not have crucial blueprints to treasure places found throughout the island nation? What is the identity of the confidential informant who is keeping their true identity a secret? Will the pursuit of the truth put the life of anybody else in danger? After the conclusion of Season 1, these are just some of the questions that come to mind. These treasure hunters are surely venturing out on a perilous adventure in order to unravel one of the most significant unresolved mysteries pertaining to World War II. Additional investigation and exploration on the ground should hopefully be of assistance in deciphering and understanding the weird signs, symbols, and dead ends that have been found. I am less skeptical that these hunters will discover something more concrete than the Oak Island team, because their path to exposing buried history has taken place over the course of hundreds of years, which may have featured a variety of scenarios in which the treasures were transported to a different location. This one is from more recent times, and it gives the impression that it is genuinely possible to unearth treasure from multiple spots throughout the islands that hasn't previously been claimed or decayed. The search for Yamashita's gold has brought John Casey and his crew back to the Philippines. They have found a collapsed tunnel that may eventually bring them to the riches, but in order to do it safely, they must first excavate the entrance to the tunnel. The miners start their digging once the location has been secured, and the discoveries they make inside the tunnel have them very thrilled. On the other hand, they are aware of the possibility of the ground collapsing, so before going in, they decide to thoroughly seal and bolt the entrance. During the course of their exploration of the tunnel, they come across chisel marks on the wall, American numbers painted on the tunnel, and a knife handle that resembles a K-bar, which is a type of military-style fighting knife. The discovery of these artifacts, which provide vital clues about the age of the tunnel, as well as the likely involvement of American POWs in its construction, adds to the excitement of the prospect of unearthing hidden treasures and unraveling the secrets contained beneath. They are of the opinion that General Yamashita concealed loot worth billions of dollars, some of which may be located in this mountain. They have found a collapsed tunnel that may eventually bring them to the riches, but in order to do it safely, they must first excavate the entrance to the tunnel. The miners start their digging once the location has been secured, and the discoveries they make inside the tunnel have them very thrilled. On the other hand, they are aware of the possibility of the ground collapsing, so before going in, they decide to thoroughly seal and bolt the entrance. Subscribe now for more update on interesting new discoveries, and be sure to hit that notification bell to be the first to know when the next post is up. John and his colleagues are looking inside a recently reopened tunnel in the hopes that it would take them to a long-lost treasure. They have come to the conclusion that it is too dangerous for them to enter the tunnel at this time, so they will instead send a camera in there to capture images. During the course of their investigation, they come across chisel marks on the wall of the tunnel, which lead them to believe that it was constructed quite some time ago. They find what appear to be American numbers painted on the walls of the tunnel, which leads them to speculate that American prisoners of war may have been engaged in its construction. As they continue their search, they find a knife handle that has marks that are similar to those on a K-bar, a type of military-style fighting knife. This artifact may hold important information regarding the tunnel and the individuals who participated in its construction. The narrator's expressions of anticipation around the investigation of a mysterious artifact that has tremendous historical significance are ratcheting up the level of excitement. The narrator is looking forward to unearthing even more hidden riches and deciphering the mysteries that are contained within them with great anticipation. Shocking new discovery by research team. Click on the next video to find out more. Shocking evidence of covert U.S. military operations. The success of the team's mission to locate Yamashita's riches is currently dependent on their ability to investigate 3 hidden locations in the Philippines. However, back in the United States, Chief Researcher Bingo Minerva is investigating other possible individuals who are after the stockpile. Roland Keltz, an author and contributor to the New York Times whom he meets with, is the one who studied the clandestine U.S. activities to retrieve the wealth from the Japanese and the influential persons involved in those operations as shocking evidence of covert U.S. military operations is revealed. The group stays in the Philippines to carry on their search for Yamashita's gold and investigates 3 locations that are speculated to have some kind of buried treasure. In the meantime, back in the United States, Chief Researcher Bingo Minerva meets with novelist and New York Times contributor Roland Keltz to discuss who else may be searching for the treasure. Bingo and Roland's goal is to find out who else may be interested in the treasure. Keltz discloses that General Douglas MacArthur, who supervised the American occupation of Japan and was the most powerful person in the nation at the time, was made aware of the hidden riches and contacted President Truman, who then launched a clandestine American operation to collect it. MacArthur was the most powerful person in the country at the time. Keltz reveals that President Truman launched the covert American operation to extract the treasure. Keltz gives evidence to back up his assertions, which indicates that individuals who knew about the treasure during that time were in a position to benefit from it. Keltz's claims are supported by the evidence. It has come to light that General MacArthur was complicit in the utilization of the plunder that the Japanese had stolen during World War II and had access to all of these treasures, including precious metals and stones that belonged to the Japanese government, as well as goods that belonged to selected individuals. This information was exposed in a recent book. During the course of the Cold War, covert operations were funded by gold that had been retrieved from Yamashita's treasure. This practice continued for several decades. According to the legend, in order to gain the maps and information necessary to locate the buried riches, General MacArthur and his cohorts resorted to torturing individuals in order to get what they wanted. It is said that the Black Eagle Trust Fund, which is thought to be in existence even now, is used to pay clandestine CIA operations, including as efforts to retrieve Yamashita's riches. John Casey and his crew have returned to the Philippines in order to continue their search for Yamashita's riches. They have found a collapsed tunnel that could perhaps bring them to the treasure, but before they can do that, they need to excavate the entrance in a safe manner first. The miners start their digging once the location has been secured, and they are ecstatic with the discoveries they make inside the tunnel. On the other hand, they are aware of the possibility of ground collapses and make the decision to properly secure and bolt the door before proceeding inside. During the course of their exploration of the tunnel, they come across chisel marks on the wall, American numbers painted on the tunnel, and a knife handle that is reminiscent of a K-bar, which is a type of combat knife used in the military. The discovery of these artifacts, which provide vital evidence about the age of the tunnel, as well as the likely involvement of American POWs in its construction, adds to the excitement of the prospect of uncovering hidden treasures and revealing the secrets contained beneath. They believe that General Yamashita concealed loot worth billions of dollars, including in this mountain, and that Yamashita buried some of it here. They have found a collapsed tunnel that could perhaps bring them to the treasure, But before they can do that, they need to excavate the entrance in a safe manner first. The miners start their digging once the location has been secured, and they are ecstatic with the discoveries they make inside the tunnel. On the other hand, they are aware of the possibility of ground collapses and make the decision to properly secure and bolt the door before proceeding inside. John and his team are searching for a lost treasure, and they have recently discovered an abandoned tunnel that has been reopened. They make the decision to send a camera into the tunnel to take images, despite the fact that it is not yet safe for them to enter it. They are doing an investigation of the tunnel, and as they do so, they notice chisel marks on the wall. These marks suggest that the tunnel may be rather old. They also find American numbers painted on the walls of the tunnel, which leads them to believe that American prisoners of war may have been involved in its construction. As they proceed with their exploration, they find a knife handle that has marks that are similar to those on a K-bar, which is a type of combat knife used in the military. This artifact has the potential to reveal useful information regarding the tunnel, as well as the individuals who were engaged in its construction. The narrator's expressions of anticipation around the investigation of a mysterious artifact that has tremendous historical significance are ratcheting up the level of excitement. The narrator is quite excited about the prospect of unearthing other hidden treasures and deciphering the mysteries that are contained within them. To be able to persevere through the never-ending challenges that come with being a treasure hunter, you need to have a certain kind of personality. Not only is the job that must be done on a daily basis challenging, but there are also a great many other challenges that must be surmounted, particularly when it comes to making difficult decisions in the face of very long odds. Due to this factor, it is virtually inevitable that the treasure hunters on any given buried treasure reality show will be unsuccessful in their efforts. Despite the fact that the success rate was already known beforehand, it is nonetheless interesting to follow the trip of the searcher and any history that is discovered along the way. Team Lead. John Casey is searching for the buried wealth of General Yamashita Tomoyuki on the island of Luzon in the Philippines. He's attempting to locate the treasure by following meticulously hidden clues. Despite all of the show's best efforts, the first season, entitled Digging Up Lost History and Lost Gold of World War II, resulted in nothing but dead ends. When the show was restarted for Season 2, the title of the new season was, Will a New Crew Find the Lost Gold of World War II? This new season included a new crew that appeared to operate a lot wiser with much better equipment, which resulted in the team having more success. Bingo Minerva, the head researcher, used her connections in the United States to find a famed treasure hunter who had previously spent a significant amount of time working with the Philippine government. Since this treasure hunter happened to have many treasure maps, it was only logical to bring him on board the expedition. Because of his expertise, the group was able to make an informed decision about where to dig by combining it with data from NMR scans, seismic scans, and surveys. As a result, they dug in the appropriate location. Do not forget to subscribe and turn on post notifications to the first to know when the next post is up. The team used personal videotapes recorded by a previous treasure hunter who spent 30 years in the Philippines and deciphered the coded treasure maps in order to end an intense 5-month-long excavation with some actual success. They finally found a void area after spending several weeks drilling through the side of a mountain with a horizontal drill while working beneath a waterfall that was 300 feet deep. The space has the potential to be a treasure chamber. Using a snake camera, they spotted what appeared to be crates of ammo. Do the crates contain any valuables? How exactly do they plan to retrieve them? And will the authorities truly let the team keep whatever they might find during their investigation? When the team begins to get excited about their discovery, they are suddenly startled by a second chopper that appears to be following them and spying on them. This happens like clockwork. Everyone is on edge as a result of this, in addition to the unannounced safety inspectors who took plenty of images of the team's progress and the various cautions that others have given, as the level of danger appears to have significantly grown. Because of this unwelcome attention, there is now a sense of urgency to retrieve the treasure as swiftly as possible. Team finally makes breakthrough finding. Want to know more? Click on the next video now. Shocking revelation. Breach 6 is the key to finding treasure. The group gets updated with fresh information regarding the possible worth of Yamashita's gold and discusses a region of interest known as Breach 6 in this phase of the mission. They gather information using a drone equipped with a magnetometer and decide to begin digging in the vicinity of an anomaly that indicates the presence of a tunnel. In spite of the challenges presented by the unstable soil, they were able to create a reinforced steel shaft and locate a concrete slab, which may have been the beginning of a tunnel. As they are ready to break through the concrete and maybe unearth the long-lost treasure, their level of excitement continues to rise. They also think that Breach 6 is the key to finding treasure. The explorer John Casey and his crew are updated by the researcher Bingo Minerva with new information regarding the potential value of Yamashita's gold. Estimates suggest that there may still be treasure in the mountains that is worth tens of billions or maybe hundreds of billions of dollars. According to the findings of Bingo's inquiry, the treasure may not only consist of gold, but also of diamonds, gems, and coins that are hidden beneath burlap sacks and crates. Bingo's investigation found that these items may be found among the treasure. Another topic that is brought up for discussion among the squad is Breach 6, which was an area of interest that Colonel Corey and his crew had previously examined. The fact that there are scary stories about previous treasure hunters becoming ill or dying in the area adds to the dangers that are linked with going there. The group has come to the opinion that the best approach to evaluate the issue is to send out a drone equipped with a magnetometer to gather information and discover a dig site that is both safe and accurate. This conclusion was reached after the group came to the conclusion that the best way to analyze the issue was to send out a drone equipped with a magnetometer. The team conducting the research finds 3 anomalies in the area, and they believe those anomalies hint to the existence of a tunnel. They are confident that they are sitting on top of a significant discovery, and as a result, they choose to conduct their excavation in the region that is immediately adjacent to the more significant anomaly. However, they experience difficulties as a result of the unstable soil, which ultimately results in the construction of a reinforced steel shaft for the purposes of safety. In the course of their exploration of the building, they came across a concrete slab that might or might not have been a component of a Japanese tunnel. During World War II, the Japanese made use of a cement mix that bore a striking resemblance to the formula that is applied in modern construction. Their level of excitement keeps rising as they get set to burst through the concrete and possibly find the long-lost treasure. They have been looking for it for a long time. After finishing all of the required steps, the party went into a corner and tried to get into the area where the treasure was hidden. They are really ecstatic because they believe that they may have found the entrance to a tunnel that had been concealed below the concrete covering. They have grounds for believing that they are coming closer to figuring out how to get into the mountain in order to retrieve the gold that was misplaced there. Lost Gold of World War II is an attempt to discover Yamashita's treasure 70 years after it was buried, based on trustworthy evidence from an eyewitness. While some mysteries have remained unsolved for a reason, such as a lack of credible information or an excessive reliance on tall tales, other mysteries have remained unanswered for a cause. The action takes place primarily on the island of Luzon in the Philippines, which serves as the backdrop for this exotic setting. During World War II, Japanese forces operating in Southeast Asia pillaged the region, stealing gold, ancient artifacts, and other valuables. After the United States prevented General Yamashita from returning to Japan in 1945, he purportedly buried all of the treasure in the Philippines after being prevented from returning to Japan. Following the conclusion of the war, he was put on trial in court and promptly executed, taking his long-hidden secret with him to the grave. After waiting for 7 decades, 2 treasure seekers have formed a partnership in order to investigate the alleged location of 175 treasure sites across the Philippines. Together with a group of 4 other investigators, Peter Struzzieri, who has a combined experience of 50 years in the treasure hunting industry, and John Casey serve as team leaders for this project. Their mission is to uncover the truth. Grandpa has consented to aid this party of Americans, who are being followed by a video team, despite the fact that he is somewhat hazy on everything he truly knows and that he was compelled to help the Japanese when he was a child. Lost Gold is not as simple as just following urban legends into the woods. There is more to it than that. 5 individuals make up the crew that is on the hunt for buried treasure. Heavy equipment operators Brad Carr and Jeremy McMillian, a team physician by the name of Manny Paez, and an expert in symbols and codes by the name of Martin Flagg. In order to ensure the safety of the treasure vaults, General Yamashita set off a series of dynamite explosions. This introduces an additional element of danger into the equation. As a direct consequence of this, a great number of engineers and prisoners of war lost their lives in the process. After the treasure had been hidden, General Yamashita put it under a mountain in order to cover up practically all of the evidence. He did this so that no one would ever find it. Have I mentioned that there are also gas-filled booby traps placed up so that no one can claim their loot? This is one of the key hooks in the pilot, which focuses on a previous hole, Breach 6, that was constructed by earlier treasure hunters seeking for a tunnel, but was left empty. The hole was left unfilled so that the treasure hunters could continue their search. It is reported that every hunter who came before them became ill, most likely because of the poison that the Japanese left behind for the other hunters. What can we say but that there are several layers of suspense? Throughout the course of the show, a number of strange symbols are discovered carved into a variety of rocks. It is supposed that these emblems were left behind for the Golden Lily, a secret establishment of Japanese nobility that may have initially claimed the jewels for themselves. Using the equipment that is available, the group makes the discovery that there may be a cyanide canister that has been broken at the bottom of the 25-foot pit. They do this by climbing into their big machinery and operating it in order to expel any potentially contaminated gas. After Yamashita and his soldiers had left, the mountains had transformed, and for the past 80 years, there have been only a few hints left behind by the people who hid the treasure in the highlands. One of them has a pyramidal structure and hard imprints on the hand, which are both things that cannot be formed by nature and can only be made by humans. The pyramidal structure may be able to direct the team to the tunnels that Yamashita's men constructed. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on post notification for more interesting findings about this treasure. Breach 6 is the product of the labor put in by those who excavated for this treasure in the past. Up until the current day, a number of teams have been searching for gold and artifacts. Breach the 6th of May provide leads and clues, but it also may provide risks because some of the Yamashita army may have abandoned their traps. A shard of the shattered glass bottle may be seen on the screen of one of the team's cameras in Breach 6. It is assumed to be a bottle of cyanide due to the fact that Japanese soldiers are believed to have left it for Allied forces to use as poison as they searched for gold. Is this bottle supposed to represent one of the many booby traps that would eventually lead the team to the treasure? Imelda Marcos asserted, without providing any evidence to support her assertion, in 1992, that the majority of Ferdinand Marcos's fortune came from Yamashita's gold holdings. The search for treasure places is being carried out by a large number of individuals and groups from both the Philippines and other countries. It has been alleged that treasure hunters have been responsible for a number of accidental fatalities, injuries, and financial losses. Research team finally makes breakthrough in treasure discovery. Click on the next video to find out more now. Researchers embark on a journey to find a lost gold of World War II and treasure tunnel uncovered. John Casey and his crew have returned to the Philippines in order to continue their search for Yamashita's gold. They have found a collapsed tunnel that could potentially lead them to the treasure, but before they can do that, they need to excavate the entrance in a safe manner first. The miners start their digging once the area has been secured, and they are ecstatic about the discoveries they make inside the tunnel. On the other hand, they are aware of the possibility of ground collapses and make the decision to properly secure and bolt the entrance before proceeding inside. During the course of their exploration of the tunnel, they find chisel marks on the wall, numbers painted in the style used by the United States military, and a knife handle that is reminiscent of a K-bar, which is a type of combat knife used by the military. These items provide vital evidence about the date and the involvement of American POWs in the tunnel's construction, adding to the suspense of discovering hidden treasures and unraveling the secrets within the treasure tunnel uncovered. John Casey, an American construction contractor, has returned to the Philippines with a fresh group in order to continue his search for the gold that Yamashita hid there. John is certain, along with a large number of other people, that the Japanese general Tomoyuki Yamashita concealed treasure worth billions of dollars that was stolen by Japan during World War II, someplace in the Philippines, including maybe in this mountain. The Japanese are responsible for transporting the crates up the mountain. An eyewitness reportedly stated that unknown wooden crates were dragged up this mountain by prisoners of war and concealed in tunnels, which were subsequently destroyed. On the basis of that narrative, John pursued a string of cryptic symbols to 3 potentially fruitful locations, including a waterfall. Something mysterious is being concealed by this waterfall. A father and son mining team, Geo and Levi, as well as father and son geophysicists, Max and Colin and Rick Hurt, who previously explored this mountain, have all joined the hunt. They discovered a tunnel the previous year. If they are successful in opening up the tunnel, it might be the key to everything. The 3 most important ones were the waterfall, the tunnel site, and Breach 6. Breach 6 was the breach. The bottom line was that they weren't going to know what the heck is going on until they got inside of this tunnel. This was the only way they were going to find out. Levi and Geo, 2 miners, get an early start the following morning to continue their work on the tunnel. During the process of excavating the entry, they will need to construct a support fence to prevent any rockfalls from occurring. As a result of the precautions that were taken in the surrounding area, the miners are now free to begin excavating the tunnel entrance without putting their lives in danger. They were so mentally stunted that they were unable to even comprehend what was right in front of them. It was common knowledge that General Yamashita carved up secret passageways and hid treasures deep within the surrounding mountains. They wouldn't have used all of that timber in it if they hadn't planned for it to be long-lasting. That would have been an indication of that. It was time to go inside that area and begin the search for the riches. As the sun rises on the mountain, John gets his first full look at the tunnel for the first time since it was repaired. He had the intention of linking it to a network that would eventually take him to the treasures that were waiting for him there. During the course of World War II, Japan was responsible for the captivity of around 27,000 military personnel and sailors from the United States. It is speculated that Yamashita put those POWs to use in order to construct his massive network of treasure tunnels by utilizing the labor of those POWs. It would appear as though there are numbers that are comparable to this down the tube that is there on the post. There were numerals painted on the wall that followed the American format. It seemed as if they had been painted on there, almost as if they had been bleached onto the post. It appeared as though they had been painted on there. They assert that General Yamashita hid vast amounts of riches, including billions of dollars worth of assets, in various locations, including in this mountain. They have discovered a collapsed tunnel that might bring them to the riches, but in order for them to achieve that, they need to excavate the entrance in a manner that is both safe and effective first. After ensuring that the place is safe, the miners begin their digging, and they are excited with the discoveries that they make while they are working inside the tunnel. On the other hand, because they are aware of the risk of the ground collapsing, they decide to first carefully seal and bolt the entrance before going inside. John and his team inspect a reopened tunnel that they think will take them to the missing wealth. While the tunnel is still unstable for them to enter, they decide to send a camera inside to capture images. As they explore the tunnel, they see chisel marks on the wall that indicate it could be quite old. They also come find American numbers painted on the tunnel, suggesting that American POWs may have been engaged in its construction. As they continue searching, they discover a knife handle with marks that mimic a military-style fighting knife called a K-bar. This relic could provide vital information about the tunnel and the people engaged in its construction. The thrill rises as the narrator expresses eagerness about exploring a mystery object that possesses important historical worth. The narrator enthusiastically looks forward to discovering more hidden gems and revealing the secrets that lay there. Treasure hunters John Casey and Peter Struzzieri, who lead the Lost Gold team in uncovering hidden mysteries, are currently scouring the mountains of the Philippines in an effort to locate a lost hoard. According to the urban legend, Yamashita, a great Japanese general, buried a treasure that consisted of gold, jewels, and various artifacts because he feared that the Allied forces would steal the fortune from him. This fear caused him to hide the fortune. The location of the wealth, as well as its significance, were lost along with Yamashita in February 1946, when he was executed for his role in the war's conclusion. We had previously felt that the secret could not be divulged, but that changed when we watched the series The Lost Gold of World War II, which uncovered 5 previously unknown facts concerning Yamashita's riches. The so-called Grandpa is an eyewitness who observed numerous boxes of treasure transported by Yamashita soldiers. He is the piece of this treasure search that is considered to be the most crucial. The Filipino farmer claimed that he had distributed his cattle to the military personnel. They utilized the services of animals to transport the treasure to the higher elevations. Following the concealment of the treasure, they used explosives to close off the tunnels. Casey and Struzzieri need Grandpa in order to be successful in their treasure search. Have you subscribed yet? Be sure to do so for more mind-blowing discoveries. Since the age of Yamashita and his men, the mountains have experienced substantial transformation. Nonetheless, after 80 years, just a few hints have been left behind by the individuals who buried the treasures in the highlands. One of them has a structure in the shape of a pyramid and hard impressions on the hand, both of which cannot be generated by nature and can only be made by people. The pyramidal construction may offer the group with directions to the tunnels that were created by Yamashita's soldiers. The earlier treasure hunters who explored this location were responsible for the construction of Breach 6. Up to this present moment, a lot of teams have been looking for antiques and gold. It is possible that Breach 6 would offer leads and clues, but it is also possible that it will only pose hazards because the Yamashita army soldiers abandoned the traps. A piece of the smashed glass bottle was recorded on camera by one of the group's cameras while they were in Breach 6. It is supposed to be a bottle of cyanide due to the fact that Japanese soldiers are believed to have left it for Allied forces to locate as poison while they were digging for gold. Is this bottle supposed to stand for one of the numerous obstacles that need to be overcome before one may obtain the treasure? Tons of treasure boxes found in abandoned tunnel. Click on the next video to find out more. Now.